Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream. How's everyone doing? Hi Carla, how you doing?
Hi Dawn, hi everyone. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm getting there. Oh, thank you. I just did a little simpler one. So I had to venture to Costco today. And you know what Costco is like weekend before Thanksgiving. Oh my God. But I lived through it. So
that's funny. I thought about going today and then I thought, no, I'll just go tomorrow. So
can you wait till, well, Monday's going to be rough. Can you wait till like Tuesday?
Oh, that's going to be even worse.
You think the longer you wait.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello, Carlos from San Diego. My goodness.
Hey.
Another local. We're in San Diego too, Carlos. It's nice
we
to
are.
see you. Now, maybe we were talking the other night because we had a bunch of locals on Mentor Lawyers channel, remember?
I know, I missed it. No, I wasn't on. I missed it.
Gosh, I should have taken a screenshot so I could make sure to get in touch with everybody. So we have to have our own little West Coast or Southern California chapter, right? San Diego chapter of Trial Watchers. So
no kidding.
Delray Beach. I was like, wait, San Diego, Delray Beach, and Sonny Tanner was at the Florida versus Charles Adelson trial. How did you feel, Sonny, when they read that verdict? Were you there for the verdict? Hi, Patty.
How did you feel seeing him in person? I think that's the part for me. Like, I think it would just feel very surreal.
Yeah, tell us how it felt. Hi, Katie girl from Toronto and Julia from Vegas. Oh, I love it. So ready for I know it's going to be a blast is a great way of saying it. And if you're up for it, there's some of us from San Diego going to be traveling to that trial. Should it happen? Carla, what is wrong with me? Carla doesn't think she's going to make it that long. I think she's going to be feisty and ready to go. I think she's going to be working out at the jail, pumping iron. She'll be skinny and muscular.
If she doesn't plead guilty.
Right. Hi, I'm Christine with, what is that dog in your profile picture? That gray dog? Very cute. Atlanta, Georgia Metro. I love it. I didn't realize you were in Santa Monica. Hey, Mona. So Judy
local.
D agrees with me. I don't think she's going to do, sadly, I don't think she's going to do a trial. And I think she's going to take whatever secrets are left to the grave. But I hope that does not preclude the state from going after the rest of the family. Now, I will show you on that intro, if you saw how I did it, it's it goes Wendy, Harvey, Donna, Charlie, Katie, Sigfredo, Luis, right? Mm-hmm. That's the pattern, I feel, of the communication. Of course, Dan's the victim, and he's there. And these two little boys I have symbolized by two blue hearts, and then the two children of Catherine Magbanna was, although she wasn't murdered, she may as well have been, because both her and her husband are now in jail for life or prison for life. So what I also did is I put the dates of when the convictions are happening. And so it's working this way and the state is working this way. And so the question was Wendy or Donna going to be last? So it looks like Wendy's going to be after Donna if there is an indictment. In my opinion, it will go Harvey and Wendy maybe together or in a similar time frame.
Interesting. So you think Wendy is next as opposed to Harvey?
I think they're going to be in a short time frame. I think Harvey and Wendy are next. But in terms of the way I think this whole thing happened in the conspiracy is Wendy was in Harvey's ear, of course, Charlie's and Donna's about Dan, right? But she was in Harvey's ear. That's why it ended up being a birthday present for Harvey, which is so sick, so sick. And then Harvey to Donna, putting this idea together and then handing it off to Charlie to orchestrate it. But, I think a lot of people are seeing that it's the parents and Wendy were probably the ones with the idea, the masterminds, if you will, that put this together. And then they let Charlie put it, carry it out basically. And then we have Katie, Sigfredo, and Rivera. So it's actually they're going from the bottom to the top. And I would say Wendy would be the top because she's the main beneficiary. Right.
And I think she's the one who started this. She cried enough to Donna, and Donna said, once again, I have to take things into my hands. I just keep thinking, but what do I know? Right. I just, based on the information, I don't know if they're going to go after Harvey, period.
Oops, sorry. I'm going to turn that off. I'm just going to put this back up while we're talking. Okay. Yeah, well, we don't know what they have, and we don't know what kind of financials they have.
True.
So I do think they're going to get him for something. So let's say hi. I just want to say hi to everyone. And so this is what I'm talking about. So in terms of the beneficiary, why am I hearing music? Am I hearing music?
No, I don't hear anything.
That was weird. Okay. As I'm like, it shouldn't be playing. So we have, of course, Dan, the victim. We have Wendy, who's the closest to Dan. She was the number one beneficiary of what happened after he died. She gained in many ways. She is theoretically or reportedly closest to Harvey, right? She's the only girl. That's her dad. So Dan, I believe Harvey and Donna were the financiers. Obviously, since I especially believe that now, since Katie, she testified that Donna and Harvey dropped money off that night, the night of Dan's murder. Then we've got the orchestrator, otherwise known as Maestro, but whatever. I refuse to use that word. It sounds too good for him. And then Katie, Sigfredo, Garcia. And the way the arrests went, it just coincidentally, I guess, because he was already in prison, but it was Luis first, and he was smart and he spoke. He turned state witness. Then they went after Garcia and Katie. But in terms of conviction, it wasn't until 2019 that Garcia was convicted, then Katie in 2022, finally. Now we have Charlie in 2023. So we've got her indicted. So it seems to be following this pattern that I've been barking about all along. That's going from the bottom to the top. And I would say,
sorry, go ahead.
The other thing I was going to say is the time frame, which I was alluding to earlier, is getting closer and closer and closer between convictions. So I think Wendy and Harvey, it's going to be in a short amount of time. And I don't think the state cares whether they do Harvey first and follow any kind of plan that way. They're going to go with the evidence. But certainly they could, now that they have the indictment, they probably can go after even more financial information, especially now because there were some significant financial transactions just this very week before she left. How she tried to escape to another country. So there's going to be a lot of financials that they're going to have their hands on that Harvey's probably going to have his, signature on too. So that's what I was going to say.
No, I agree. I was going to say something similar, and I was going to say that looking at the timeline, I mean, really, realistically, we're about a year out from Donna if she doesn't plead guilty. So what, 2020, end of 2024, maybe even beginning of 2025.
Generally speaking, she could ask for a speedy trial, although in this case, I don't know that she would want to. Usually that's to catch the state off guard. They're not going to be caught off guard. This is like a lot of the same trial that they're redoing.
Right.
So I don't know how much benefit it would be, unless she really thinks she can get out, and then she would want a speedy trial so she can get out, because she actually thinks she's going to get out.
Well, Charlie did as well.
Well, that's why I laughed, because Charlie clearly thought he was going to, and they were clearly shocked that this happened. That's why they were on the phone making these horrible mistakes. They really did believe the world would believe that cockamamie alibi, or whatever you want to call that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My cat's playing with my piece. So, mm-hmm. So, hey, Go Georgia. Hey, Tara, Cantella, Barbara, Florence, Judy D. It's so nice to see you guys. We did part 1 yesterday, but technically this is part 1 because we're starting at the beginning of the testimony. So I'm going to switch the thumbnails around and switch the order of this. So we're going to review tonight Luis's testimony. Hi, Bugs Bunny. Hi, excuse me, Donna. Sorry, guys, I'm still coughing a little bit. Trying to get everybody here. Carlos. Okay, so you ready? Are you ready for Luis, you guys? I'm so ready. Are you ready, Carla?
I'm ready. He's the only credible one out of this nightmare.
He is. Hopefully your girl will get this right this time. And we can actually enjoy the right testimony. Okay, StreamYard. Oops. All right. Okay. Hey, Observation. Good to see you. It's been a while. Tato is the most likable felon. You know, I am so hoping for Tato to come out of this a better man, you know, just a great father, have some life to enjoy. But it does sound like he still is connected to his family in terms of the Kings. But I just hope he can get out of that prison and not do anything that makes it so that he has to go back into prison again, away from his family. Hey, Go Georgia. By the way, thank you for the honey and lemon. Appreciate that. Yes. And Jeff Lacoste was very credible. And I think when we say that, I think don't let me speak for you, Carla, but you mean of the people that were arrested, right?
Correct.
Oh,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else is kind of lying. In other words, Katie, how do you guys feel about Katie, by the way? Yeah. So she lost her babysitter. Exactly.
I feel, you know, I think she's holding back. And Mentor Lawyer, for those of you that listen, he has a very interesting point that I never considered. And they said that if they give her, even if it's just a couple of minutes with Sigfredo, she will spill the beans on everything. But she's still holding back. And I agree.
I would agree with that a couple of years ago, but at this point, they're both life in prison. I think she knows she can speak at this point. I'm not sure about his reasoning that she needs his permission.
Well, there's still a possibility, right? But there's still a possibility that they may reduce some of that time, you know? So if they do, and Sigfredo decides to do the right thing and come forward and say what he knows, I think that there's something to be said there. Well,
yeah, but that's different than saying she's not going to speak unless Sigfredo gives her a blessing. That's different.
No, it is. But I think he has a point when he says that if they were to say, you know, he comes forward, right, to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk and say what I know. Katie also needs to, because she's holding back, because they know what they know. You know, we don't, right? And if that is what she's hesitant on for some reason, I think that if that were to happen, I really think that it would just blow the entire lid off, because I don't think she's been forthcoming about everything.
She's not been forthcoming. I agree with that. But I don't think it's because of the reason that I don't see her as that submissive or caring that much about anyone but herself. So I think I think there's something else holding her back, which concerns me a lot. And it doesn't have to do with Sigfredo, unfortunately. I don't know. That's my gut feeling. I understood where he was coming from, but I think at this late date, I don't think they're going to let Sigfredo out regardless. He was the one who shot Dan.
Right.
So it's her. And of course, Sigfredo would want her to get a reduced sentence. I just don't see she needs his blessing for that. It's common sense. He would want her out with their children. I mean, I don't see what she needs permission for. She's not going to implicate him any further than he's already been implicated. And he's not going to get out on any appeal. I think she thinks she's got some idea about getting out on an appeal, and that's crazy. And she's still holding back for that reason or for other reasons, which makes me really not like her even more. Just spill the beans. She's holding back. That's right. That's what I think, Mona. Yeah, I don't think she thinks Sigfredo does, but I think she thinks she does.
That's an interesting comment from Barbara. She wrote that Rivera had people send notes to Garcia in prison telling him to flip. Interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that. Garcia's smart. He cared about his friend.
Yeah.
I mean, Luis cares about his friend.
Yeah.
He cares about his friend. And Stella says Katie knows Georgia wants wedding, and she's not doing much for that, is she? She had no communication with. She's already said she's had no communication, and in her proffer, which really probably wasn't a proffer, they just went and got her. She, according to her, it wasn't that she reached out or her lawyers reached out. It was that they just came and got her and said, "Talk. We might be able to help you." And she was that's one of the reasons she was like, "I don't know what to say," So at least according to her. But I feel like if she did communicate with Wendy and know more about Wendy, and she's lying still today in 2023, I would have a hard time believing her.
Mm-hmm. But I agree with you, Carlos. She should have taken that plea deal. Or that it wasn't even a plea deal. It was just flat out immunity.
Yeah, and she didn't have very much too. So that's really, she's not the brightest. I think there's other reasons that she's holding back. And part of it is like some kind of weird PTSD type situation too. I'm not sure, but all right, let's see if this is the right video, you guys. Tell me if you can hear. I think I fast forward a little bit just to make sure, because there was Charlie. Oh, wait, that's us. Sorry. Wrong one. See? I'm bad at my job, you guys. Okay. What else? Kate. Yeah, it could be that. What do you think about that? Bug Bunny's brother.
That's a good observation. That's a good point.
She's got something. She's got something going on for sure. That's Charlie. I don't want that one. Oh, you guys, really? Okay, let me go. What other comments do we have to keep us busy while we?
There's a lot. If we go up.
While I find this. Oh, maybe that is the right one. It's Charlie. Oh, I thought he was on the stand. Okay, that's it. Sorry. It's Charlie. I was looking for Luis. All right, let's see if I can make this one work. Hope we get to see the stare down. Oh, okay, I can show that. I can show that at the end. That'll be our treat for the night. That was so fun.
Yeah, the stare down is good.
All right. Hopefully this is the beginning of the testimony, you guys.
It is. He's swearing him in. Oh, wait a minute.
He gets sworn in more than once.
But Rashbaum is.
Oh, this might be the proper.
Yeah, this is a proper. This is what we did yesterday.
No, we didn't do the proper yesterday.
Are you sure?
We didn't do the proffer yesterday. We did those.
Right? As a gang family.
Oh, God. All right, you guys. It keeps flipping on me. I have it right, and then it flips. Okay. Nah. All right, let me go back. It's really weird. Okay, it's right. It's right. It's right. It's correct. It's the proffer. Do you think did we do the proffer? No, we didn't. This is the proffer.
I don't know. With him, I feel like it's Groundhog's Day because he was
specifically goes to the defendant's
it was
theory
so
of
much
defense.
so.
I will permit the line of questioning that has been raised. However, Mr. Rauschbaum, you are being cautioned as to going into any matters that are collateral.
Okay, yeah, this is the proffer.
to
We didn't
your
see this
theory
yesterday.
itself. If you understand what the line is.
Understand, Your Honor.
Let's bring in the jurors.
And you have it on a faster speed, right? That's why it sounds like that.
Sounds like what?
It just sounded a little funny. It didn't sound like their voices.
They're not up to the mic yet. I don't think. It's not on a faster speed.
Okay.
He was talking to the judge, so I don't think he was. Okay. Anyway.
I do too, Carlos. I like Judge Everett as well. He keeps saying he's my spirit animal.
Hey, I know I love that. Hey, Jason. Nice to see you. Bye, Judy. We'll see you in the replay, Judy D. Clearing the courtroom. This is for the proffer. We love Judge Everett. Nice to see you, Jason. Hello. Yeah, Patty likes him too. Rochelle, nice to see you. Oh, right. I sure hope so.
Everyone except for Mr. Rivera may be seated. Mr. Rivera, I'm going to swear you now in front of the jury. Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear
I don't
affirm
think
the testimony
Donna
you're about to
included
give
Rob's
before the
kids
jury?
in those trusts.
You may take your seat. You may examine the ready.
Oh,
What is your name, sir?
Luis Rivera.
Mr. Rivera, where are you from?
I'm Puerto Rican, but raised in Miami.
And I see you're wearing a jail uniform. Have you been convicted of a felony?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times?
I don't remember.
5 sound right?
45, yeah.
Right. And are you currently incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you serving a sentence for both this case that we're here about and also a federal case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's start with the federal case. What is the nature of that charge?
Conspiracy RICO with the Latin Kings.
Conspiracy, RICO, like a racketeering,
Yes, ma'am.
and that's related to your involvement with the Latin Kings?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a gang?
Gang, family.
Okay. And that was a group that you were affiliated with when you lived in Miami?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we've heard that when some incidents occurred during this case, you were incarcerated in Broward County. Were you incarcerated in Broward County back in 2016?
No.
You were never in Broward?
2016?
Yeah.
No, I was in the feds.
Okay. So you were incarcerated, but not in Broward. That was part of the ruse that you were.
Yeah, I
in
was in Broward, but I was 2016. I was in the feds. I was in Coleman.
All right. So at the time of what we're calling the bump, you were actually in federal custody.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that on the racketeering case?
Yes, ma'am.
You're still serving a sentence on that case?
Absolutely.
Okay. And is that case in any way related to the murder that we're here about today?
No, ma'am.
All right. So when law enforcement came to talk to you and identified you as a suspect in the murder case, you were already serving this sentence unrelated. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been promised anything in reference to that federal case for
No,
your
ma'am.
testimony here today?
Nope.
All right. And have you ever gotten any help on the federal case for your cooperation in this case?
No, ma'am.
All right. What did you get for your cooperation in this case?
In this case, the murder case, I'm 19 years.
All right. And was the 19 years to be served concurrently or at the same time with the federal sentence you're already serving?
Concurrent with the same time as the feds.
What is your release date once you conclude both sentences?
Both sentences, probably 2032, 33.
32 or 33? 2032 or 2033?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is it that you have to do in exchange for this 19-year sentence on the murder case?
I had to testify.
All right. What do you have to testify to?
The murder.
All right. And has anyone told you to say anything other than the truth in the case?
No, ma'am.
Have I or anyone promised you anything other than what we've already discussed, the sentence you got?
No, ma'am.
Just by the way, I want to ask the chat and you as well, Carla. I don't think I did this last night, but how did you feel? Because I got up at 5:30 in the morning, earlier than 5:30 to see this Monday, the following, the cross. But the day that we saw Luis walk in and sit down, what was your feeling? I was just, were your eyes not just checking him out to see how he was and if he was well and had he changed? I noticed immediately that he lost some weight. He seems a little harder to me. He seems like he didn't want to be here more than before. Did you have any impressions, chat, about Luis, that feeling you had that when he walked in, sat down and started this with Georgia? Carla, do you remember?
I thought he looked well. He's definitely lost weight. I think Arizona is doing him very good. I don't know. I mean, I thought I didn't think he was necessarily not wanting to be there. I think he's kind of over it because he has, given so many testimonies by now that he's probably thinking, here we go again. Why don't these people just plead already, So I'm
Right.
sure that he's over it by now. But I think he's doing well. He looks healthier than he did before.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, and we're going to go over body language as we notice those too. And Tennis says he looked calm, very truthful, definitely.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, less nervous. I do feel like he settled in at his prison, and it did feel a little bit more like, I just want to go home. I just want to go back. But that's
Anybody
understandable.
Ever told you that you had to testify about a specific person in order to get a deal?
No, ma'am.
All right, I want to talk about how you came to be a participant in the murder of Dan Markell. Did you participate in his murder?
Yes, ma'am.
How is it that you came to be a part of that?
I'm a friend.
And who's your friend?
Garcia.
Who's Garcia? Is that Sigfredo Garcia?
Sigfredo Garcia, yes.
How did you know him?
Childhood.
And had you described him as a brother previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that because he was in the gang or
No,
just
he's not in no gang.
he was not in a gang,
No.
but he was a good enough friend that you referred to him as
Yes,
a brother?
ma'am.
And back around the time that this crime occurred in 2014, were you and Mr. Garcia together all the time?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Garcia, is he the one that came to you with the information about this job that needed to be done?
Absolutely.
And I say job, is that what this murder was to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So your motive for coming to Tallahassee and participating in this murder was money?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Did you know Dan Markell?
No.
Did you know anything about him?
No.
All right, so do you know why Garcia or how Garcia came to know about this murder or this job?
His girl,
Who's that?
Katie.
All right, so am I correct that Katie hired Garcia and Garcia hired you?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was to actually come to Tallahassee to do the murder?
It was me and him.
You and Garcia,
Yes, ma'am.
but not Katie?
No.
So she stayed in Miami.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and who was to get the money once the job was done?
Katie.
All right, and did she get the money?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know where she got the money from?
Mm.
Do you know where she got the money from?
Yeah, the people. She got
Who are the people?
the dentist. I called him the dentist at that time.
The dentist?
Like Wendy and her brother.
Okay, and
No.
do you know which one of them actually handed Katie the money?
No, absolutely not.
And you weren't there for that?
No, ma'am.
So Katie went to get the money from the people, which includes both of them,
Yes, ma'am.
and then brought it back to you.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Did you originally describe the purpose behind this murder as helping a lady in Tallahassee get her kids?
What you mean?
Did you describe I know your purpose was money,
Yeah.
but whoever did the hiring had a different purpose, right?
Yes,
And what was your understanding of that purpose?
for the kids,
To get these kids.
get the kids back.
Okay. And do you know any more about that? Which family member did what and whose kids they were or anything like that?
I don't think I know the kids was Wendy. That's her name.
Wendy, they're Wendy's kids?
Yeah, that's the only thing I know.
Okay, and it had something to do with getting Wendy's kids.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know the dentist?
No.
Have you ever met the dentist?
Okay, so I just want to jump in here. I was kind of distracted with making sure the sound was everything and all that, but I just want to jump in here and say when he answers, and I think even more so this time around, his answers are really big. I mean, George is actually having to draw information out. He's answering in his own words. Simply, he's not adding anything in that he might think she might want to hear. And, you know, he has his own way that he views what happened, such as I call them the dentist. In other words, he's referring to that whole family as the dentist at sometimes, and of course, Charlie at others, but he's not saying Charles Adelson. He's not saying Dr. Adelson. He's not saying, he's using his own words, and he's 100% convincing to me personally. He's got no crazy body language going on. He's just being himself. And we kind of established that we know he's a great witness, but this is why. So if you notice anything else that you think makes him more believable,
Yeah, well, that's what usually happens, right? When you tell the truth, you're confident. So, you know, he's
Yeah.
confident.
Yep. And he's relaxed. Yep. He did not know him personally. He said that they never met. Yeah. And I wasn't sure if they had that owl. I know there was some talk of it, but I didn't know that they actually had it. Yeah, so Luis never met Charlie. She does ask him that. His description of the paper was extremely damning. And by the way, I think, I can't remember who said they wanted to go over his proffer in a video. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that next if you'd like, after, not tonight, but as a next live stream. I also want to go over Katie's short testimony if you want to. So let us know.
Done this before? What did the dentist have to do with the lady in Tallahassee that had the kids?
That's her brother.
And what was his connection to you or to Garcia?
To me, nothing. His connection was, that was Katie's boyfriend.
All right, so Katie was Garcia's child's mother
Yes, ma'am.
and also was dating Charlie Adelson.
Absolutely.
Did you know before the murder was committed, did you know how much you were going to be paid?
No.
When did you find out how much you were going to be paid?
I was driving up.
Okay, so that was before the murder was committed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, and so when you were driving up, you found out the job was going to pay how much for you?
But it only gave me 37.
$37,000?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much was the total bill for the job?
It was $100,000.
And that was split between who?
3 ways.
You and who else?
Me, Garcia, and Katie.
Was this job in any way related to your gang affiliation?
No, absolutely not.
You couldn't be more decisive than that.
To show you State's Exhibit. Shouldn't have photos. Oh. I'll show you 37 and 38. Recognize these photos?
Yeah.
Are those photos of the folks that were involved in this homicide?
Yeah.
Plus another young lady. Who's that?
That's my baby mama. She's not involved.
Okay, what's her name?
Jessica Rodriguez.
All right. Judge, at this time, I asked him into evidence 37 and 38.
Objection?
No objection.
States 37 and 38 are admitted.
Publish 37 at this time, please.
Ding, 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 ding. Still getting money, I think.
Who's that on the far left in the green shirt?
Garcia,
Okay, and next to him,
Katie,
and next to her,
Jessica.
Isn't it weird to see that photo? I know we've seen it before, but it's still just weird to see them all out and free before all this happened. And I mean, it's pretty sad.
and
Three of
that's
the
you on
four.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
When was this photo taken?
Right.
Let me ask you this: was it before or after the homicide?
Hmm.
If you know,
I can't remember.
did you previously say it was taken sometime after the homicide? Can't remember.
I can't remember.
Okay. States 38. Who are these folks?
That's me and Garcia.
I hate this picture of Sigfredo. It's freaky.
Did Mr. Garcia go by any nicknames?
I'm just going to say Garcia gives me the EBGBs. Like in that picture, frightening.
And what about you? Did you have a nickname?
Tato.
Had you ever been to Tallahassee before you came for this murder?
No, ma'am.
Did you come to Tallahassee one time or more than one time?
Twice.
And both times, was that with just you and Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Both times, did you come in a rental car?
Yes, ma'am.
How long can we go back to? Oh, okay. How long had Catherine McManawa and Sigfredo Garcia been, I guess, on again, off again?
Probably 10 years.
So at the time of this homicide, they'd been on and off for about 10 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you knew her pretty well as far as through Garcia, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did she go by Katie sometimes?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, may I publish States 59 at this time? Can I turn the thing off?
I think I have that dream sometime.
Mr. Rivera, have you seen this exhibit before?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had an opportunity to take a look at the phone numbers associated with the people on this chart that you know?
I seen them, but I don't remember none of them.
Don't remember those numbers? Have you previously testified about the numbers?
So his
No,
phone
ma'am.
number, you guys,
The phone numbers are on there.
Charlie's phone is still active, by the way.
Excuse me. Yeah, the phone numbers, they didn't black out their phone numbers. It's interesting.
Yeah, Charlie's is still active. I don't know about the other ones. I'm sure Wendy has a new one, but Charlie's was active. I called it. I sure did. I know. I called it.
Like
I want to
like
say
a week ago or
no,
2
no,
weeks.
no, like 2 months ago now, and then again a
okay.
couple of weeks ago, and it was still active. It rings once, it goes to voicemail, but it's still active.
It's because he thought he was getting out. Why am I so funny? What did I say? I know, it's crazy, right? Oh, he wants you to call him. No, he thought he was getting out. He's like, oh, yeah, he thought he was going to get out of this.
Yeah, he really did.
He did.
I think it was probably mine.
Okay, did you have an opportunity to look at the rental contract that you filled out for the rental car that was used in this homicide, the
Yes.
Prius? All right, and that contract has your phone number on it, correct?
Yes.
And if that phone number matches the one up there, would that be the correct number for you at that time? Or at least one of them?
Probably one of them. I have multiple phones though.
Yeah, you had a couple phones, right? The address that was on the rental contract. Can I see the rental contract? Oh, it is.
Thank you.
One moment.
Thank you very much.
Normandy. Normandy. Is
Remember
that where you were living at the time of the murder?
No. I was just on my license.
Quick question. Yeah, his memory is really good. We were worried about his memory. I know there was some talk of that because he was a little spotty last time and he's on some medications. But quick question. Do you think that Harvey did any calls with Charlie while he was in jail? I think he's done some, okay? But would you think that Harvey was more careful than Donna with we're leaving the country kind of talk? It's getting recorded.
I don't think they can help themselves.
Harvey too, though. We're going to find out. I guess that's why I want to say. So who all thinks Harvey is going to be implicated in some way in some kind of phone calls, jail or otherwise, with Charlie?
So you provided your driver's license to rent a car,
Yes, ma'am.
and okay, and at the time on your license, I'm approaching with states 58. It had this 1805 Normandy Drive on your license.
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you actually living at that time?
I was living with Jessica.
Okay, and was Jessica's address at 1515 Northeast 135th,
Street. Yeah.
number 14?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I want to talk about the first trip. Do you know the date that you left to come here for the first trip?
No, ma'am.
Does June 4th of 2014 sound correct?
Probably.
All right, how did you get here? Who drove?
I drove. He drove half and I drove the other half.
All
The
right,
first
so
time.
you both did some of the driving.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and how did you know where you were going?
Oh, he knew his way.
Who did?
Garcia.
How did he know his way?
He had a piece of paper with an address and a picture.
What can you describe what the piece of paper
It's a
looked
regular
like?
piece of paper.
Like a regular piece of paper like this size?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it white?
Yes.
Was it like this kind of paper that goes in a printer?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was printed on it?
It was the dude's address.
Okay. Was the address printed or handwritten, if you know?
Man, I can't remember.
Okay. Did it have a photograph on it?
Yeah.
All right. So it had a photograph and an address. Anything else written on there
That's it.
or typed?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
Oops.
So that's how you knew who you were supposed to kill and where that person lived.
Yes, ma'am.
This.
So you didn't get the address from the
That's what I think.
prof's blog?
No.
You don't read the prof's blog?
No. What are you doing?
Are you on the prof's blog server list?
No.
I would. Okay.
Here comes the stair.
And
Here
one of the
comes-
best lines.
It's not going to be as good as my video with the music and everything, but there it is. See, Charlie already sees him staring. So this is why the camera zoomed in and then goes to the B-roll. Woohoo! Here we go. Best witness ever. Oh my goodness. You guys are crazy. It's a full 30-second stare with no blinks. I wonder if he practiced.
And I'm okay with silence, but I think that was
Getting
awkward for them.
information about Mr. Markel from a blog.
No.
Did
Your
either
house.
of you, to your knowledge, go on the computer and look on his Facebook?
Oh, so oops.
Oh no, my favorite line.
Hold on. Is it now? What is happening with these videos? Oh, this happened last night too.
Can you roll a little bit?
Okay, hold on. We'll get the other one. Sorry, you guys. Take 1 sec. What minute was it? Where did I stop it? What does the minute say, if you don't mind telling me, Carla? Can you see what the minute and seconds are on the video where I paused it? I can't hear you. I think you're muted. Sorry.
I can't see it on my end. As soon as I enlarge it, everything else pops up.
Okay. Where is this one? I'm looking for it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. 1 second. We don't want to miss that line. Kind of weird. It was day 3, right? Oh, no, this was day 2. This was day 2 because it was before the break. He came, but day 3 was, let me mute that. June. Was he after June or before June?
He was before.
Okay, there's Wendy. So he was after Wendy and before June. Oh, there was he after Jeff?
I believe so, because Jeff was after Wendy.
Okay, there's the lawyer, Dan's lawyer. Then June. So June still cracks me up. Then Jeff had to come back. Then Ryan. Yeah, because Luis was later. Okay, here we go. Hold on 1 sec. Let me check the time. Oh, I took it down already. 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, so 808. This should be about right. Hold on. All right, let me switch the screen. Oh my goodness. Why? You guys, it just makes me crazy. I don't normally have this. These videos got so scrambled.
I think they changed a lot of the order.
Yeah. But I redid them on my end, and it's like it reverted type of thing. I don't know. Okay, let's go. Is this before or after? Did I go too far?
I don't see the video.
Oh, hello. I'm like playing it. Sorry, you guys.
Tell us what happened when you got to Mr. Markel's driveway.
This was after, right?
Yes.
The stare down. Okay, let me go. Here we go. Okay, we did that. It should be about here.
Murder and the payment. Was there any conversation about maybe switching it to a robbery?
Yes.
All right. And who brought up the possibility of switching it from a murder to a robbery?
Me.
And what was your suggestion?
My suggestion was to go back and rob the lady,
And who's the lady?
Wendy.
Did we get this far?
It was before then, because they were asking him about the prof's blog.
Do I go before or do I go this way or that way?
You have to go back.
Okay. Should be really close to this because we're at, like 20 minutes.
What was
Sorry.
printed on it?
It was an
Yep.
Okay, because we did that.
When
Yep,
was this
yep.
photo taken?
Yep. So
Okay.
you can fast forward
Let me
also.
ask you this, was it before or after the homicide?
I'm just gonna speed it.
Did you know?
I can't remember.
Did you previously say it was taken sometime after the homicide? Can't remember.
I can't remember.
Just to get to the
6:38?
stair.
Who are these folks?
It's me, Garcia.
Hate
Mr.
that
Garcia,
photo.
by any nicknames?
Photo you
What
like.
about you? Did you have a nickname?
Tato.
What?
I said, there's the photo you like, Don.
Oh, I know,
Have you
right?
ever been to Tallahassee before you came for this murder?
No, ma'am.
Did you come to Tallahassee one time or more than one time?
Twice.
And both times, was that with just you and Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Both times, did you come in a rental car?
Yes, ma'am.
He did, Jason.
How long can we go back to?
I mean, I can't hear that testimony enough, and I wasn't paying attention, so I'm gonna just go the regular speed because we're almost to where we were left off. Thank you guys. You guys are so
About you,
great.
did you have a
Nobody's
nickname?
complaining.
Tato.
Had you ever been to Tallahassee before you came for this murder?
No, ma'am.
Did you come to Tallahassee one time or more than one time?
Twice.
And both times, was that with just you and Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Both times, did you come in a rental car?
Yes, ma'am.
How long can we go back to? Never mind, just- Oh. How long had Catherine Magbanua and Sigfredo Garcia been, I guess, on again, off again?
Like 10 years.
So at the time of this homicide, they'd been on and off for about 10 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you knew her pretty well as far as through Garcia, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did she go by Katie sometimes?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, may I publish States 59 at this time? Can I turn the thing on? Mr. Rivera, have you seen this exhibit before?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had an opportunity to take a look at the phone numbers associated with the people on this chart that you know?
I seen them, but I don't remember none of them.
Don't remember those numbers? Have you previously testified about the numbers?
No, maybe one of them. I think it was probably mine.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to look at the rental contract that you filled out for the rental car that was used in this homicide, the
Yes.
Prius? All right. And that contract has your phone number on it, correct?
Yes.
And if that phone number matches the one up there, would that be the correct number for you at that time? Or at least one of them?
Probably one of them. I have multiple phones, though.
Yeah, you had a couple phones, right? The address that was on the rental contract. Can I see the rental contract, please? Oh, it is. One moment, I'm gonna show it to you. It's Normandy, something Normandy. Is
Remember?
that where you were living at the time of the murder?
No. I was just on my license.
So you provided your driver's license to rent the car
Yes, ma'am.
and you know what number the rental contract is? Never mind, I just found it. Okay, and at the time on your license, I'm approaching with states 58. It had this 1805 Normandy Drive on your license.
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you actually living at that time?
I was living with Jessica.
Okay, and was Jessica's address at 1515 Northeast 135th,
Street. Yeah.
number 14?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I want to talk about the first trip. Do you know the date that you left to come here for the first trip?
No, ma'am.
Does June 4th of 2014 sound correct?
Probably.
All right, how did you get here? Who drove?
I drove. He drove half, and I drove the other half.
All right,
The first
so
time.
you both did some of the driving.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and how did you know where you were going?
Oh, he knew his way.
Who did?
Garcia.
How did he know his way?
He had a piece of paper with an address in the picture.
What can you describe what the piece of paper
It's a
looked
regular
like?
piece of paper.
Like a regular piece of paper like this size?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it white?
Yes.
Was it like this kind of paper that goes in a printer?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was printed on it?
It was the dude's address.
Okay. Was the address printed or handwritten, if you know?
Man, I can't remember.
Okay. Did it have a photograph on it?
Yeah.
All right. So it had a photograph and an address. Anything else written on there
That's it.
or typed?
Not that I remember.
Okay. So that's how you knew who you were supposed to kill and where that person lived?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't get the address from the prof's blog?
No.
You don't read the prof's blog?
No. We know that.
Are you on the prof's blog server list?
No.
Can you just come stand for one moment?
I would. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so Jason, I wonder why he did say it was a piece of paper. It was an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that was in the proffer. That's what he just was talking about here in the testimony. And he said he didn't know where Sigfredo put it, but he never saw it again. And my guess is Sigfredo was told in the note to destroy it. I doubt he knows what a blog is. He's not the blog type. And we're back. If this one cuts off, I'm going to lose my mind. Live stream. You'll love it.
In your presence, did Mr. Garcia get any information about Mr. Markel from a blog?
No.
Did either of you, to your knowledge, go on the computer and look on his Facebook
No, ma'am.
or search him in any kind of way?
Not at all.
All right. So everything you did from this piece of paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to the address on the paper on the first trip?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to see Professor Markel that trip?
No.
What did y'all do that trip?
We tried to follow him, but we lost him, but
All right. So you saw his vehicle
yes, ma'am.
and tried to follow it.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember where you followed it that trip?
Not that trip. I don't think I remember.
Okay. Did you watch his home? Sit and watch his home during
Yes,
that
ma'am.
first trip? Did anybody get out of the car and look around or poke around his property?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did that?
Garcia.
Why didn't the murder get done on this trip?
Man, I can't remember.
Did you have a weapon with you?
I think we had. I don't remember.
Did you previously say that you each had a firearm on both trips?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember which weapon was the murder weapon?
Yeah, I remember the weapon.
Where did the murder weapon come from?
I got it
Where'd you get it from?
on the streets.
All right. And was that in Miami or up here?
Miami.
Now, I think Charlie's looking at him like this is because he's interested in these details. He looks like he's interested in these details right now. because
I
he
agree.
wasn't there. Yeah, isn't that weird? And let me ask the chat something, because there's been some commentary about this. It's really great. If Luis Rivera told Sigfredo, no, I don't want to go with you. No, I don't want to do this. You're on your own. Do you think Sigfredo would have gone ahead and done it or not? So is Sigfredo the one? I mean, obviously he could have done that and he should have done that. But the question is, if he had done that, wouldn't Sigfredo have just gone ahead and done it himself anyway? Curious. Yes. Patty, he is enjoying it. It's kind of creepy. He's too interested in this. If I were a juror, I'd be like, what is he so interested in this for? He's like, oh, this is a good movie. You know, it's kind of creepy. Where is the picture Sigfredo used to identify? So again, that's on the, hi, Katie. I hope you're not going at me. Is that Charlie? So he testified in his proffer. He put forth that this piece of paper, which also Katie did verify, that was one thing she was useful for. The picture of Dan was on it with the address and instructions. And Katie said that Charlie gave this paper to her, said, it was in an envelope, I think. Don't open it. Don't touch it. I printed it somewhere else. I used
No
gloves.
fingerprints.
I've used gloves. There's no fingerprints. Don't get your fingerprints on it, blah, blah, blah. No doubt in the paper, he said, destroy this because they would. And so in Luis's proffer, just to answer Jason, in the proffer, they asked, where'd the paper go? And he said, I never saw it again. He said where it was in the car and all that, but he said, I don't remember him taking it out. But Luis did leave Sigfredo with the car that night. So he could have destroyed it that night. He could have destroyed it earlier. Okay. Yeah, he still thinks he's going to win at this stage. It's true. Good reminder.
Okay, so you went and got a weapon. Was that specifically for the purpose of
Yes,
committing
ma'am.
this murder?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that weapon come up here on the first trip with you?
I think so.
All right. And was there another firearm in the car as well?
We had two.
Okay. Whose gun was the other one?
Garcia,
And the murder weapon, what type of weapon was that?
38.
Is that a revolver?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Was there a particular plan as far as who was going to actually do the murder?
I was supposed to do it.
Okay. And was it always going to be a shooting?
It's going to be a shooting.
What was the plan? Were you always going to do it in his car, or what? Was there any kind of plan?
No, there wasn't no plan. Really didn't plan nothing out.
So it was just going to be if an opportunity arose, you were
If
going
there was
to take
opportunity, we do what we got to do and go.
it. What if an opportunity arose when the children were present?
I was not doing that in front of the kids.
Okay.
Not me.
Did somebody instruct you on that, or that was just a given that you weren't going to do it?
I was not going to do it. Period.
On that first trip, when you were discussing this murder and the payment, was there any conversation about maybe switching it to a robbery?
Yes.
All right. And who brought up the possibility of switching it from a murder to a robbery?
Me.
And what was your suggestion?
My suggestion was to go back and rob the lady,
And who's the lady?
Wendy.
Okay, because
No ambiguity there. Wendy was in Tallahassee. They were in Tallahassee. He wasn't talking about Donna when he was talking about the lady. He was consistent. It is 2023. This is what he said in 2016. It was very consistent. I know a lot of people want to say, well, he didn't say Wendy's name, but no, he knew exactly what he was saying here. And without hesitation, he didn't flinch. Nothing.
He said this 2016, 2019, 2022, and now 2023.
Yes, ma'am. So it's just I've watched every single bit of his stuff. It's so it's just so unreal and riveting and
Did you
sad.
believe at that time that Wendy was the one that had this money to pay for the murder?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so your thought was, hey, let's just take the money.
Just take the money.
Don't even have to do a murder, right?
We don't have to do none of that.
So let me ask the chat. Didn't this give Wendy a reason to be afraid? Do you think if Luis was saying this to Sigfredo, let's not murder this guy, let's just go get the money from Wendy, she's here, then we'll just move on? Wouldn't she, no doubt that Sigfredo told everything to Katie, like a little tattletale, because Sigfredo wanted to be in Katie's good graces. So if Luis was saying this to Sigfredo, he may or may not have said it within earshot of Katie on the phone, but no doubt Sigfredo would have texted or called Katie and said that. I think that there's reason that Charlie and Wendy would have fear that they would either do this for them or rob them or both. Come and get them because they know they have money. What do you think, chat? What do you think, Carla?
I agree.
I agree.
agree.
And despite all that, Barbara thinks the lady is Donna, and that's okay. I do not agree. What do you all think? It's okay. I need to learn how to do a poll in the comments. Type in, if you think the lady, just type in Donna or Wendy so we can see. I respect all opinions, and I'm just curious because it just seems so obvious. He just said Wendy. I don't know why he thinks it's Donna. Wendy, he's talking about, let's just go rob the lady. They're in Tallahassee. He said they saw Wendy. And so it doesn't seem like, where would Donna come up out of all of this? I think they kept Donna walled off a little bit, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
Why-
I don't think he
Why didn't
knew
that happen? instead of
even
the
Donna's name. He knew Wendy.
True. And Wendy was the mother who wanted her children
children
back,
kids
was having the custody issue, right?
He told me he can't. He just had to do his job. I'm like,
Mhm.
I just went with it because that was my friend. So I just went with the,
Garcia told you that you had to get this job done,
yes, ma'am.
and the job had to be done for Katie, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's talk about the second trip. Is that when the murder happened, July 16th through the 18th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's the rental car agreement that I already showed you. That was the Prius you traveled up here in.
Absolutely, yes.
And we talked about your phone number, but there's another phone number on that rental agreement that says brother. Is that Garcia's phone number?
I don't remember.
Okay. Who would be the brother that you would put on the rental contract as going with you?
Garcia.
Did you take phones with you when you came to Tallahassee? Cell phones?
Yeah.
And did you have the phones on or off for the actual homicide?
It was off at that moment.
And did you take the same guns with you that second trip?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you stay while you were here?
In the hotel.
Was there an incident while you were here for that trip prior to the actual murder where one of the guns was discharged in the Prius?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell us what happened?
Well, the gun went off. Well, Garcia was playing with the gun. I was driving, and he put a hole right through the floor in the passenger side.
Were you actually out on the roads
Yes,
when this
ma'am.
happened?
I was driving.
And did it have an impact on your ability to drive the car?
Yeah, it hit the gas line.
All right. So how'd you get it fixed?
He flagged somebody down there. We met the first time, some people, and they gave him a ride to the AutoZone to get a piece of hose to connect it back.
Mhm.
So somebody gave you a ride to the AutoZone.
Yes, ma'am. Not me,
Was
him. I was in the car. I never got off the car.
All right. You stayed with the disabled vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
And did Garcia come back and do something to the car?
Yeah, he fixed it.
And it was able to be operated after that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did y'all follow Dan Markel at all during this second trip?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you follow him this time?
Follow him to the daycare and to the gym.
Was there a reason that the murder had to get done on the day it did?
It was just the right thing, the right opportunity, I guess.
Okay, did you have any information that the victim was going to be leaving town the day after the homicide occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, meeting.
Is the answer struck?
The answer is not struck. You need to rephrase your question.
Maybe
Right,
Katie would have
so-
gone with him.
How did you find out that the victim was leaving town the following day?
Can't remember that good.
Was it from a blog?
Objection, Your Honor. Meeting.
Here we go.
Roll.
Was it
Drum
from a
roll.
blog?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what blog was that?
The blonde was Wendy.
No, I was
What you
saying
mean?
from the computer. Did you research
Oh,
it
no,
on
no,
the
no,
computer?
no.
Okay, so somebody gave you the information.
Let's just take a laughter pause for that. Regain ourselves. That's what we were waiting for. It was a little bit after. It wasn't right after the. Yeah, he wasn't able to read. He may have. Excuse me. Even George laughed. Yes, the plug was Wendy. I love that so much. Okay, I think I see a short in the future for tomorrow morning. What do you guys think?
And I see a shirt in the future as well.
Yeah, somebody-
Okay.
it
A
was
person.
a person.
And
I would definitely design the best merchandise. I need to get on that. I need to get on that because you guys know, I don't know if you know this, but I used to design clothing, fashion. So not graphic t-shirts, but I'm up for it.
how did you actually talk
You
to
certainly
the
have the
No, ma'am.
talent,
person? Who
Tom.
talked to the person?
Tuto Garcia.
Garcia talked to the person.
Talk to
All
Katie.
right.
Coffee mug.
So
Okay.
Garcia got the information from Katie.
Yes, ma'am.
And do we know where Katie got it from?
I don't know.
Okay, were you present when Garcia talked to Katie and found out we
Yes,
got to
ma'am.
do it today?
Yes, ma'am. It was on the phone.
I'm sorry.
That was on the phone speaking.
He was talking to Katie on the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were present for that.
I was in the car.
Who was driving the green Prius on, like, whenever you were following Mr. Markel right before the murder?
Me.
Did you go to, I think you said the daycare. Where else did you go that day?
The gym.
Have you seen the video surveillance from the gym in this case?
I have seen it now.
Yeah, where the green Prius is at the gym. Have you seen that?
I've seen it.
And is that you driving that Prius?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is Garcia in the vehicle as well?
Absolutely.
All right. Did you know whether or not the kids were in the car at the time you were at the gym?
Now he dropped them off. I seen him when he dropped them off in the daycare.
So you actually saw the kids go into the daycare?
Yes, ma'am.
So is it after the daycare that you proceed to the
You
gym?
guys-
Yes.
And what about after that?
We followed him to his house.
All right, so did you wait in the car while the victim went in?
That's a good point, Barbara. Maybe she would have been the one. Oh, never mind. Let's not say that.
To the gym and worked out?
Yes, ma'am.
And did y'all know at that time, like, we're gonna do it when he comes out of
No.
the gym, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. Nah.
So you're just following him to see where he
To
goes.
see where he goes.
And where did he go?
To his house.
Did you see the bus video that shows the Prius shortly before and shortly after the homicide?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you driving the vehicle at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what happened when you got to Mr. Markel's driveway.
Well, he had turned he turned the block before. We kept going, so we went in front of his house. So when he pulled in, we pulled in right behind. I pulled in right behind him.
Is what you're describing, you entered his street from two different directions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you met at did you meet at his driveway?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you pull in behind him, what happens next?
Garcia jumped out and shot him
How many
That's
times?
right.
twice.
Where was he standing when he fired the shots?
So
Right, right in front of the driver's side, right in by the driver.
Did you see what the victim did during this attack?
He put his hands up.
I want to point out something. I'm not doing my job in pointing out body language and stuff. Just take a notice right here. She said, "Did you see what the victim did?" Now, a lot of people think that Luis actually shot Dan and not Sigfredo, blah, blah, blah. In fact, that's what Charlie was saying. I don't know if you saw this. It was fairly quick and subtle, but when she said, "Do you see what the victim did?" He said he put his hands up, right? He didn't say he moved off to the side. He just did it instinctually. That seems truthful to me. Like that just hit me right now. I didn't notice it until just now, but for sure, I do believe that Sigfredo was the shooter. No doubt in my mind. And I do believe that Luis regrets it for a variety of reasons, being involved in this.
How was it decided that Mr. Garcia would end up being the shooter instead of the original plan, which was for you to do it?
When I was driving, I ain't had no time. He jumped out and did it. He had the gun the whole time.
All right, so either one of you.
So it sounds like he was not convinced he wasn't going to do it. It was just sort of like that's how it worked out. It all kind of just happened.
Were willing to do it when whoever wasn't driving when the opportunity arose?
Maybe, but it was really his job, so he did it.
You mean why was it his job?
He's the one that was getting paid, but he knew about the whole thing.
Well, you were getting paid too, right?
Yeah,
But he secured the job.
yes, ma'am.
Does anyone here in the chat or in the replay, have any doubt or question about whether it was Sigfredo who shot Dan or whether it was Luis? Because I have heard that in the past, and I'm just curious if you still have that doubt. Love to hear your reasoning. I just think the whole thing is so interesting.
The bus video that we looked at, one of them shows the passenger side, someone in a white shirt moving around a lot right after the homicide. Can you explain to the jury what was going on in the car at that time?
And by the way, I had to stop the chat on the screen because that is so chilling when he describes what happened. It's just so horrible. I would not. It was Sigfredo who knew where they were going. It was Sigfredo who knew how to drive anywhere, even without directions. It was Sigfredo who had the paper and the map and the address. Why was Luis all of a sudden driving? Luis was driving because he didn't want to be the shooter. He was already had expressed several times to Sigfredo and in his proffer and in his testimonies, I really didn't want to even be doing this. So I don't think it was this. I think he said, "I'll drive." Maybe Sigfredo was just so drunk. He probably had to get himself drunk to do this. I mean, how awful that was the last thing that Dan saw was Sigfredo's face in that gun. That just makes me sick. But I just want to say, I think that Luis was driving because he wanted to be driving. And I'm no surprise they were like, "Okay, I think this is it." But they weren't sure until it happened. And there's like, "This is our moment. We better do it." Right. Because if they would have waited another half a minute, that garage door would have been closed. They would have had to ambush him in his house. I mean, all kinds of things would have been different.
They had already been following him around, so that was the only opportunity they were going to get.
Yeah. Okay, so either an owl or owl eyes. Yeah, I think I will have choices, people. I am a designer. I have many ideas, so you'll have choices. I have so many ideas all the time. So yes, owl or owl eyes would be great. Yeah. Okay. Jason agrees. I'm not sure to what, because I've been saying a lot. Yeah, and Dan did put his hands up. We know he put at least one hand up to try and so he was probably as Luis just said, it was like this, right? That is a very subtle thing that a lot of people, this is why he's believable. We don't necessarily call it out like this when we're watching somebody, but it's like all these small things add up to a true story. Yeah. No, the owl was not a Facebook thing. The owl was a graphic T-shirt that Wendy was wearing on the day Dan was murdered, and she was wearing it through her 5-hour police interview. So I don't know if you, and if you look at any of my graphics, I have a show list called True Crime and Tarot Talk. I use that graphic a lot of her owl. That's why I do the owls in a lot of my videos as well. Okay.
And it's also, remember, he posted an owl and Katie called them and told them to take it down immediately.
Right. And he posted an owl, and in his proffer, he said this bird came out of nowhere. And evidently they had talked about it before with the police, and it was an owl. And Detective Isom said it was a barn owl or something like that. It's not that easy to hear in the proffer, but he said it was a barn owl, and it scared him, and he posted it. I don't know that she told him to take it down because it was an owl. I think she just didn't want him, geolocating in Tallahassee.
Right. No, that's why she told them to take it down, because it showed his location.
But I will say something. In the second testimony, actually the third testimony, I can't get these all confused. In the testimony in 2022, he said it was a different type of bird. He didn't say owl. He said, I don't know if you guys caught that. He didn't say it was, nobody questioned him. They didn't say, didn't you say it was an owl? But a lot of people in the chat during the trial noticed it. It wasn't an owl. And it didn't even come up in this trial.
Was trying to hide the gun.
And that's Garcia.
Garcia.
Where did he put the gun?
Right in the front, in the passenger side, right under the rug.
Okay. What ultimately happened with the gun?
We threw it away
Where?
in the river.
On the way back to South Florida?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that where y'all went when you left Tallahassee?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
When did you turn your cell phones back on?
I think we turned them on right away, I think.
After leaving Tallahassee?
Yeah. If I remember, I really don't remember, but it got turned on.
Sometime after the murder, they got turned back on.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember who made the first phone call out of the two of you?
I didn't make no phone call. He did.
Who did he call?
I think he called Katie. Well, he called Katie. He
Say
called
that
Katie.
again?
He called Katie.
He called Katie. And were you able to hear that conversation with Katie?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that conversation?
Well, thank you,
He told her everything is
Leslie.
done. She's like, I know. And he's like, where the money?
Okay, let me back you up just a little bit. How did she know it was done?
I think she got a phone call right away before we did.
All right, but somehow she indicated she knew.
Yes.
All right, and you asked about the money. Did you personally ask about the money, or was that Garcia?
That's Garcia.
What did she say about the money?
You'll get it tomorrow.
Did you get it tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
On the way back from Tallahassee to Miami, did you stop in Pembroke Pines at an ATM machine?
No way back.
Yeah.
I know we stopped.
I'll show you states 39 through 45. Have you seen these before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, that cough. That's my ears.
And are these appear to be ATM
Yes, ma'am.
images?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's the date on the ATM images?
7/18/2024.
2024?
I mean 14, sorry.
All right, that's the day of the murder, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is this the green Prius that y'all came to Tallahassee in?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are these fair and accurate photographs of you in the green Prius on the day of the homicide?
Yes, ma'am.
Permission to introduce and publish states 39 through 45.
Any objection? 39 through 45 are admitted.
I hope so, Julia.
Permission to publish.
You may.
David, you're killing me here.
Sure. Here. Publishing states 39. 40, please. $41, please. Make that bigger, please. Who's pictured in this exhibit, Mr. Rivera?
That's me and Garcia.
Who's that in the foreground, closer to the camera?
That's me. I'm the driver.
Okay. 42, please. Who's that in the passenger seat?
Garcia.
43, please. And 44. Did you and Sigfredo Garcia go out that night when you got back to Miami?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember where you went?
I think we went to a bar.
Was Catherine Magbanua with you that night?
No, I don't think so.
Do you know where she went that night?
No, I don't know.
All right. The next morning, is that when you saw her again?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Tell us what happened the next morning.
The next morning I woke up, I went to the barber shop, and she went to my house and took the money.
She had the money at your house?
Yeah.
And did you go home and get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go home with some purpose?
Purpose to pick that money up.
Yeah. Why were you worried about the money?
I was
Same
worried
here.
about my baby mama taking it.
You were worried about your baby mama taking it?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that Jessica, the one we saw in the,
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
photo? So if she'd seen that money,
If she would have seen it, she would have probably took it, but she never seen it.
how much money was in there?
37. I think it was 35, 35, 35.
35,000. And how was it packaged?
100 staples.
100.
All $100 bills?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you mean by staples?
They were all stapled. It was $1,000, each $1,000 staple in the top corner.
Right.
All right, so you got
No
35,000. I
nonsense.
think you previously said you got 37. Where did the other two come from?
Garcia gave it to me.
Why did he do that?
She gave it to me.
So he just gave you 2 additional stacks out of his cut?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how much he got versus how much Katie got?
No,
Can you not remember that?
I don't remember.
Okay, but it added up to 100. Is that what you previously
Yes,
said?
ma'am.
Did you buy anything with your cut of the money?
Just a motorcycle.
It's really horrible. I get really re-triggered when I hear about, them buying a motorcycle or these toys with this blood money. It just really bothers me. I mean, yes, Luis did do some things with it, like give his mother rent and stuff like that, but it just, especially the toys that they bought, for lack of a better word, it just really disturbs me. I don't, oops. Oh, I just hit the wrong button. Hold on. Oh my God. What was I on? We're almost to the end. Somebody's gonna get mad at me. I can't hear you, Carla. You're on mute.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Not me,
Was
him.
yours-
I was in the car.
I'm
Never
just
got in the car.
listening.
All right,
Okay.
you stayed with the disabled vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here it is. I think this is where it was.
And,
Sorry.
It was
With the money.
Okay, let me back you up.
What?
no, I was saying I
Oh.
think it was
How did you
past
know?
where they showed the photo of them at the ATM.
Oh,
Was done.
yeah, it was definitely past that.
I think she got a phone call right away before we did.
All right, but somehow she indicated she knew.
Yes.
All right, and you asked about the money. Did you personally ask about the money?
Okay.
During the time that Catherine Magbanua was dating the dentist, were you around her during that time?
I mean, I've seen her a few times.
Okay, Olivia, if you're keeping notes and you ever want to come on live with me, or if you don't want to do live and you want to do a video going through your notes, that would be fantastic. Just click the about section and contact me there. I'd love to have you in your notes because I haven't done mine yet, but I'm getting ready.
Okay, and what was the context of, like, what was the occasion that you would see her if she was with the dentist?
Not with him, but I seen her when she come look for Garcia.
Okay, so if she was doing something related to the kids or something like
Yeah,
that?
that's it.
During the times that you saw her while she was dating the dentist, did she ever brag to you about the dentist at all?
No, ma'am.
Did she ever tell you the dentist has a lot of money?
No, ma'am.
The dentist has a safe full of cash in his home?
No.
So do you even know who the
Yes,
dentist
I agree.
is?
I agree,
That's
Mona.
Here in the courtroom?
I mean,
Never met
he
him.
gave them a couple hundred, I think.
That's such a good point. But then there's saying he said they had like $5,000, but they blew through that too. So, but I agree. That's his penny pinching, you know. And I this is why I say Katie was not long for this world, because she was going to extort. She was going to keep asking for money until they got tired of it. Let's just put it that way. So, oh, that's right. You're in Australia, but we can figure it. I'm in Southern California, so it's not too bad. We can make it work. Those boys are innocent victims. Yeah, they definitely are. But I think the state, they know how to handle a situation like this. And they do have family members that are perfectly ready, willing, and able to step in. And no doubt if that were the case, things would be happening behind the scenes before.
I think Wendy has already put some measures in place if something were to happen to her and the boys are still minors.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think she's determined not to let either Ruth or Phil or Shelley get them.
Which is really sad. I agree. She's so spiteful. Robert Adelson, I would think, would be one good candidate, but she's probably one of her friends who's been brainwashed, like, you know, Tova or someone like that. Yeah, it's
Or
sad.
that one that appeared with her that looked like she could use a nap.
Jane, you remember that Saturday Night Live? I'm not going to say it here. Jane, you
Is that her
ignorant-
name?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that was her name.
Jane, who was in the interview room at the police station?
No. That appeared with her at the last trial. At Charlie's trial.
Oh, I don't know who that was. Probably
Yeah.
somebody hired. That was probably somebody hired. I don't know who that was. That's probably somebody from the lawyer's office or somebody that she hired to assist her. Okay. I thought about Jane, you ignorant. I'm sorry. I love Saturday. I love comedy. KCL, if they do charge Wendy with perjury, that's a second-degree felony, and it's 30 years for each count, right? And that's federal. If they don't go after her for murder, and you can say murder here, I'm not monetizing. I don't plan to be, so murder all you want. I hope they get her for perjury. Yes. Hi, Lady Cymbeline. Nice to see you. Okay.
Today.
Okay. Well, the dentist lawyers have indicated that you and Garcia got this idea on your own to come to Tallahassee and kill the professor. Is that true?
No. A good one.
Did you kill him and then try to get Katie to blackmail the dentist?
No.
When you suggested to Sigfredo Garcia on the way up that it would be easier to just do a robbery, would it have been easier to rob the dentist back in Miami than to come up here to do a murder?
I never said nothing about him because I don't know him, but I said, let's go rob the lady.
Right.
Just like
but
that.
if you had known that it was actually the dentist that had the money, would you have been just as happy to rob the dentist?
Absolutely.
Would that have been less trouble than coming to Tallahassee to do a murder?
Yes, ma'am.
One moment, please, Roger.
Good time.
You can say whatever you want.
further questions, Your Honor.
All right, folks.
Do you want wish to begin your cross-examination this evening?
Look at his face. Watch Luis's face when he finds out he's got to come back. You can hear his cuffs. Can you hear that?
Judge, I think it makes sense to wait till Monday.
Very well.
See that? I don't know. I saw that during the day. He's like, ugh. Meaning he's got to get up at 3 a.m. He can't go home. He's like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was the testimony of Luis Rivera, and we did the cross examination yesterday. So it's in the true crime playlist that's on my page. If you just go to Dawn DeKista, you can find my playlist. So it's there from yesterday. I'm going to renumber the thumbnails because this was technically, we're day 2, but technically this is day 1, and then the other, I'll renumber those after we get off, but or put the new thumbnail on so it's not too confusing. But yeah, so, or we could just redo the whole thing tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but another day. But we did do it last night. We had a lot of people usually in the chat, but last night was a little quiet because one of the lawyers who covered this case went on at the last minute, and everybody was over with him. So, but we did have a lot of replays and good comments. You want to see that too. So yeah, so let's see, what do we have here? What are you guys all feeling about seeing his testimony, just focusing on it for the second time? Or did some of you, did you all see it already, or is this your first time seeing it? I know not everybody got to see the whole trial. So
I can say it's my first time in its entirety. I would love to his proffer. I haven't watched that. Yeah, I haven't been able to watch that in its entirety. Little bits and pieces here. I don't know about everybody else, but that really will tell the story more.
Yeah, Jason wants us to do the proffer too. So would you guys tell us in the chat, do you want us to do the proffer? Luis's proffer from 2016 is so interesting. Let's just put it that way. It's a 2-hour proffer, so it has to be done in like probably 4 or so sessions, because it's not that easy to hear. It's even worse audio than this. Would you want us to do that, or should we go to Katie's testimony or any other testimony from the current trial, or should we come back to that next? So should we do the proffer first or the rest? Oh, thank you, Monarch. Oh, I love your name and your little monarch there. That's so sweet.
Very pretty.
I hope you're all subscribed and you click the bell, because I do try to put out some fun content, real short videos and shorts too during the week when I'm not live, and I've been putting a little extra work into those lately. So I'd really love to see you all see them, as they don't have that many views. There's a lot of people posting a lot of things, and that's understandable, but they're kind of fun. Oh, did you all want to see the I said I promised for you to see the stare again. Did you want to see that?
That's how we were going to end it.
We were going to end it with the stare. Okay, so K Court 96 says proffer. What do you think? Go Georgia. Do you want to see the proffer next, or Katie's testimony?
Tennis girl proffer would be great.
Okay. Oh, Wendy's first appearance. Okay, I actually have a video. I have a video on that I did right before this trial starts, so it's fairly new. So if you go to my playlist, let me grab that for you real quick, because I know sometimes.
And that's a good point, Phoebe. I was mentioning to Dawn, was it yesterday, Dawn? I can't even remember when I sent you that message, that I watched bits and pieces of Wendy, and it's so interesting. And I'm talking about her police interview, that she's trying to. She's trying to put the blame on Amy, Dan's new girlfriend's ex-husband.
Yeah, she did that. She did that. Okay, so I just dropped the playlist for all of my stuff regarding mostly the Adelsons and the Markells, but also I have, the Daybell and all that. So just look at the thumbnails and you see what's what. I went through with Katie S., who was in the chat briefly. We did a 10-part series on Wendy's police interview. It was 10 parts because it was 5 hours. So we took a half hour each, and it usually we were on for at least an hour because we really went through that in detail. There's a lot there. I would love to do side by side on the proffer, the first testimony, the second testimony, the third testimony, but that's a lot of work. I don't know if I'll be able to. Yeah, it is painful to listen to her. Yep, that's true. That was one big difference for sure. She had a different answer. Okay, Jason, you're welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm sure we'll be back.
I think proffer wins. Proffer.
Is it proffer? Okay. And that proffer is chilling. You know, I mean, let's never forget that we're talking about something that really happened. Okay. And these people walk among us. So thank you, tennis girl. Okay. Well, okay, let's just leave you with my little, do you want to do the stare again, or do you want to do something funny?
I like the stare, and I don't think very many got to see it yesterday.
Okay, here we go.
I can't watch that like enough times.
All right. Yeah, that one really Luis showed that he was the bigger man. He was the one in control. He's the more dominant one. Yes. Yeah, that's in my shorts. So just take a look at my shorts. I've got some fun ones with June. And you don't have to make this stuff up. It is crazy. It is just crazy. You don't have to make any of this up. This trial is just mind blowing with tidbits of humanity. So yeah, it just seemed like forever. And I think most of us who were watching was like, is our screen frozen? I mean, he didn't just stare and not blink. He didn't move a muscle on his body. He was just bam. Y'all think he practiced? Yes, Dr. G's analysis where Wendy almost says Hitman. Yes, I actually caught that when she said it. I'm so glad he brought that up. I'm going to do another, I think I'll do a short with that one too. Okay, well, everyone, it's just been great to see you all. We'll be back. I'll be back. Hopefully Carla will put up with me again in the future.
I'll be back.
All right, sounds good. So have a great night. Have a great Sunday tomorrow. And hopefully we're all going to see Donna in Tallahassee this week, that place that she loves so very much. Bye for now.